Terminology in the Integral Yoga. Divine Reality, Sri Aurobindo. The divine reality is infinite in its being. In this infinite being, we find limited being everywhere. That is the apparent fact from which our existence here seems to start, and to which our own narrow ego and its egocentric activities bear constant witness. But in reality, when we come to an integral self-knowledge, we find that we are not limited, for we also are infinite. The Life Divine. One must go deep and find the soul, the self, the divine reality within us, and only then can life become a true expression of what we can be, instead of a blind and always repeated, confused blur of the inadequate and imperfect thing we were. The choice is between remaining in the old jumble and groping about in the hope of stumbling on some discovery, or standing back and seeking the light within, till we discover and can build the Godhead within and without us. Letters on Yoga. A third step is to find out that there is something in him other than his instrumental mind, life, and body. Not only an immortal, ever-developing individual soul that supports his nature, but an eternal, immutable self and spirit, and to learn what are the categories of his spiritual being, until he discovers that all in him is an expression of the Spirit, and distinguishes the link between his lower and his higher existence. Thus he sets out to remove his constitutional self-ignorance. Discovering self and spirit, he discovers God. He finds out that there is a self beyond the temporal. He comes to the vision of that self in the cosmic consciousness as the divine reality behind nature and this world of beings. His mind opens to the thought or the sense of the Absolute, of whom self and the individual and the cosmos are so many faces. The cosmic, the egoistic, the original ignorance begin to lose the rigidness of their hold upon him. The Life Divine. A spiritual evolution, an evolution of consciousness in matter, in a constant developing self-formation till the form can reveal the indwelling spirit, is then the keynote, the central significant motive of the terrestrial existence. This significance is concealed at the outset by the involution of the spirit, the divine reality, in a dense material inconscience, a veil of inconscience, a veil of insensibility of matter, hides the universal consciousness force which works within it, so that the energy, which is the first form the force of creation assumes in the physical universe, appears to be itself inconscient, and yet does the works of a vast, occult, intelligence, the life divine. But always the whole foundation of the Gnostic life must be by its very nature inward and not outward. In the life of the Spirit, it is the Spirit, the inner reality, that has built up and uses the mind, vital being, and body as its instrumentation. Thought, feeling, and action do not exist for themselves. They are not an object, but the means. They serve to express the manifested divine reality within us. Otherwise, without this inwardness, this spiritual origination, in a too externalized consciousness, or by only external means, no greater or divine life is possible, the life divine. At every turn, it is the divine reality which we can discover behind that which we are yet compelled by the nature of the superficial consciousness in which we dwell to call undivine, and, in a sense, are right in using that appellation. For these appearances are a veil over the divine perfection, a veil necessary for the present, but not at all the true and complete figure, the life divine. For there is only one thing essential, needful, indispensable, to grow conscious of the divine reality and live in it and live it always. Letters on Yoga. Each man has to grow into the divine reality within himself through his own individual being, the human cycle.